Yeah, this is Paul Krugman. I got a lot of flack yesterday from my column in the New York Times about why inflation is good. I said in the article that there's more confidence by foreign investors in the investment opportunities worldwide. I said that the export sales numbers would go up with a weak dollar. I said that deflation is worse than inflation. And I said that easy money is better than tight money in a recession. A lot of my progressive friends agree with all this, and that's why I put it out there. But let me tell you, you know what? Since you all think you're so smart, look, I know those reasons alone, the way I put them in my limited space, don't hold water under analysis. They're a little one-sided. I understand. They're simplistic platitudes, just words to fill airtime for the purposes of obfuscation and full concern for the little guy. I'm going to go ahead and admit that. You know why? Because I'm feeling a little ballsy today. You know why? You guys can't win. I think the freedom freaks, the gold bugs, Austrian entrepreneur fetishists, you're all on the decline. And we progressives, we statists, we don't need to hide our agenda any longer. The last run of government partial takeovers of the banking and automotive industries has crippled free market capitalism forever. We're finally over the hump. We're all socialists now. You saw the magazine cover. It's just a matter of degree. So back to inflation. The real reasons why it's good. You want them? You got them. Monetary-fueled inflation, printing of money, is the primary method by which government can grow as a percentage of overall industry. The first step, which is nearly complete in this latest offensive, the last great government conquest of private enterprise was in 64-65. This first step is to commit spending far beyond current deficit records. By passing legislation, it's not only unaffordable under current projections, but is also likely to grow exponentially over the next 2 decades or so. And there's a reason for that. You overcommit, but we're almost there. The healthcare takeover is imminent. It'll be the final piece of the entitlement puzzle that that will bankrupt us under current money supply conditions. It's by design. We're not going to go bankrupt, though, because we're going to print the money. This will necessarily force the Fed to print that money, to pay for all the new programs and entitlements, and to the crony banks. They've already been saved, but there's some that need some more saving. We got to save the big ones, fuck the little ones. Why? Because they would inevitably fail. There's still a lot of weakness in the housing and the commercial property sectors, if overbuilt, overpriced. And of course, we're not letting the market correct because that would be a free market solution. We're just solidifying the oligarchy. That is the purpose of this phase. And anyway, they would experience failure, but inflation and unemployment, negative economic growth, of course, will result from all this, all disproportionately hurting the very constituency we progressive most rely on to get elected. But look, we use them. We use them like Kleenex every 30, 40 years in this way, and they always forget that they suffer the worst when these takeovers, these crisis-fueled rapid takeovers, when they kill business off in the short term there and raise the unemployment and inflation. It's a necessary sacrifice in the mind of the progressive. You see, the resulting government control of industry that hardly gets rolled back once you make one of these big offensives. It, in effect, establishes a de facto socialist oligarchy. Now, patient Fabians, that means get socialism the slow way. Fabians like me have always believed in a fairer society. A society where living standards, although lower than what is possible, maybe far lower, are at least equalized. At least equalized. And people are far more controllable when they're equalized and not rich, not powerful, except for the oligarchy, which that's a controlled revolving door between government and the anointed owners of industry. But for the vast majority of people, what we want is a controllable populace. And the elite intellectual paternalistic elders can keep power in a party structure. So the Democratic Party, it is the plan to solidify power so that essentially you were buying our votes because we've got so many dependents, whether they work whether they're a direct dependent like a welfare queen, or whether they're a corporate welfare queen, somebody that's dependent on us to let them operate, or else we come in and shut them down. We like that arbitrary power. But we will hold that power for generations if we can just get over the hump here and make sure that we got to get health care, and we inflate the currency. Then we'll be able to lock in power for decades, if not centuries, assuming we don't get taken over from a rising powerful China or somebody else, because this of course does weaken your national defense. But that's okay. As I'm going to get to, equality is number one. You see, we need to put down with this new oligarchy, socialist oligarchy, the free market profiteers and other malcontents who would unseat the wise in favor of the laissez-faire dog-eat-doggers, the social Darwinists. See, free market chaos leads to vast inequalities, as we've seen. And although technical progress, greater aggregate wealth, greater national security does result from free markets, we progressives believe that the inequalities are morally reprehensible. They render us, in our opinion, in the more ardent among us, we believe we're not worthy of survival if we have to live under inequality. We would rather kill our own species off trying to force it to be equal than to live with inequality. And that's why inflation, bailouts, unsustainable spending, crippling taxes and regulation are good for America. They're good because they will eventually force us all to be equal, perhaps equally miserable, but equality is a higher goal than survival. And we progressives are absolutely committed to equality first. So there you have it. Those are the real reasons why inflation and the other things we've been doing are good. But I'm not afraid to tell you anymore. Just deal with it.